Hello, my name is Danae Long and I'm a 4th grade teacher at Live Oak Elementary. I would like to welcome you to this informative video about the 3rd and 4th grade LEAP test. First, I would like to begin by letting you know that the test will be a paper and pencil test given at Live Oak Elementary. The LEAP test will be a measure of academic progress of the Louisiana state standards. This test does not pass or fail students, but will be taken into consideration. The 3rd grade test results will be used to create instructional groups and to customize learning. 4th grade test scores will be used for scheduling, placement, and to address academic needs at Live Oak Middle. The test prepares students for all standardized testing in the future, such as the LEAP test, ACT, and AP test. Students who receive testing accommodations in the classroom will have the same accommodations for the LEAP test. For example, if your child receives small group testing, extended time, or read aloud, they will also receive these accommodations on the LEAP test. Please make every effort to have your student on time and at school each day of testing. Testing will begin on Wednesday, April the 28th, through Friday, April the 30th, and will pick back up on Monday, May the 3rd, through Tuesday, May the 4th. Makeup sessions will be given on Wednesday, May the 5th, but students can only make up one session per day. Before each LEAP section begins, test directions will be read aloud, and students will receive breaks in between testing sessions each day.
Hello, I'm Rhonda Little. I teach 4th grade here at Live Oak Elementary, and I'm going to talk to you about 3rd and 4th grade ELA LEAP testing. So we will be testing on Wednesday through Friday, April 28th through April 30th. 3rd grade will have 2 75-minute sessions and 1 60-minute session, while 4th grade will have 2 90-minute sessions and 1 60-minute session. Both grades will have 2 writing tasks, but 3rd grade will only have to read 2 passages to answer their writing task, and 4th grade will have 3 different passages to complete their writing task. On day 1 and day 2, both grades will have their writing task, and on day 3, there will be no writing task, and they'll just have to answer questions from informational text or literary text. Scoring of the writing. There will be a rubric. So for research, simulation, and literary analysis writing, there will be scored on a rubric from 0 to 4. Based off of whatever score they get there, that score will be multiplied by 4. And then based on their grammar from 0 to 3, that will be added to their score. So if they get a 3 out of 4 on their rubric, that would be multiplied by 4, meaning they would get a 12 for their content part. And then the grammar part will be a 3. So say they did really well on their grammar, they don't have many errors with their writing, then that will be added to the 12, so they would get 15 out of 19 for their research simulation for their writing task. The narrative is a little different. For their narrative writing, there will still have the 0 to 4 rubric, so whatever they get on that from 0 to 4 will be multiplied by 3 instead of 4. And then that, again, they will have their grammar, which will be a total of 3 points that they can get, and that would be added to their holistic score. Let me explain to you a little more about what those big fancy words mean. So research simulation task is basically articles that would be from a website, from an encyclopedia, or illustrations. And they'll have to write an essay or a letter explaining or comparing and contrasting the text or the illustrations. So that's research simulation. The literary analysis task is more from stories and poems and plays, and they'll have to write an essay where they could be explaining illustrations, character qualities, point of view of the author or the characters, and the questions will focus on theme, point of view, character development, vocabulary, and summarizing. The narrative writing is going to be from stories and poems or folk tales. They will either have to write a story or a journal entry explaining what might happen next, or sometimes they'll have to change the point of view from a different character and retell the story from a different character. So that would be the narrative writing. When taking the test, these are some important reminders. When you have a part A and a part B, It's important for students to read Part B because sometimes this can help them with answering Part A. It's important to know that if you get Part A right, but you get Part B wrong, you still get credit for Part A. If you get Part A wrong, then you automatically get Part B wrong. So it's important to make sure the kids know that they can use Part B sometimes to help give them information to answer Part A. Also, students must remember to go to the stop sign. Lots of times after a writing, there will be more questions and more stories for them to answer questions on. So it's important for them to stop at the stop sign. I think that's everything that I had to tell you. If they want to change an answer, it's very important that they erase their answer completely before they fill in another one. And then they also, for multiple select, they need to make sure they're reading, if it says select all that apply, that there could be more than one answer. We are working with our students diligently on trying to get them prepared to take this test, and with your help, they will do well.
My name is Amy Martin, and I'm one of the 4th grade teachers here at Live Oak Elementary. Today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the math portion of the LEAP test. So children in both 3rd and 4th grade are going to take 3 sessions of the math test. Session 1 will be Wednesday, April 28th, Session 2, Thursday, April 29th, and Session 3, Friday, April 30th. All 3 math tests will be administered each morning right after the ELA test. Session 1 will last for 75 minutes, Session 2, 85 minutes, and Session 3, 75 minutes. The math assessment will include 3 different types of questions. For type 1, they will include major and additional and supporting content, conceptual understanding, fluency, and application. And all type 1 questions are computer scored. For type 2, students will use mathematical reasoning, constructing mathematical arguments and critiques, and these are both going to be computer and hand scored. Then we have our type 3 questions, which include modeling and application. Students are going to solve problems in real world context, and these are all going to be hand scored. There is a difference between multiple choice and multiple select questions on the math portion of the test. For multiple choice, students are going to be given a variety of choices, but they are only to select one answer. For multiple select, students will be given a variety of choices and they must choose more than one answer. Students will also be exposed to Part A, Part B questions, some which will be dependent and some which will be independent. So for the dependent questions, this means that in order to get Part B correct, students must get Part A correct. For those that are independent, this means that even if the students miss Part A, they can still get Part B correct. As far as writing and constructed responses go, there isn't an actual essay topic on the math test, but there will be written responses that the students will answer, mostly based on type 3 questions. Here, the students may have to draw or label a model and to solve a problem, then evaluate and explain their solution path. Or they may have to analyze a model or another student's work and explain what that student did correctly or incorrectly. And we are encouraging children when they answer any constructed responses on the math test to use claim, evidence, and reasoning. For one portion of the math test, the children will see bubble grids. And to fill in these, students will write the number of their answer at the top, starting in the leftmost column and working their way to the right, and then they will bubble corresponding letters underneath. Sometimes there may be boxes left over at the end of their number, and that's okay. The students can leave those blank. Students will not write or bubble any commas in their numbers, but they will write and bubble a decimal. And if their answer happens to be a fraction, they must change their fraction to decimals in order to bubble them in the grids. Rest assured that we are working on these grids at school, so students are going to be very familiar with them whenever they take the test. However, if you would like to see them in person, we are going to have some examples printed in the take-home packets that are going to be available to you. As far as assessment tools go for the math test, there is no reference chart that's going to be given for 3rd or 4th grade students, but there are some prerequisites that they must know, and those are going to deal with metric and customary conversions for time and length. They must also have memorized the area and perimeter formulas. The assessment tools that they are going to be given are for 3rd grade students, they will be given an inch ruler. And for 4th grade students, they are going to be given an inch and centimeter ruler, as well as a protractor to help them measure angles. And no calculators are going to be used on any portion of the math test unless your child has a special accommodation.
My name is Corley Schutz, and I'm one of the science teachers at Live Oak Elementary. There has been a shift in science over the past couple years. Students are expected to now investigate, evaluate, and reason scientifically as they apply knowledge to answer questions using evidence from a variety of sources. Children in both 3rd and 4th grade will take 3 sessions of the Science Leap test. All 3 sessions will be given Monday, May 3rd. All 3 sessions of the test will be administered in one day and will last the following amounts of time. Session 1 is 75 minutes. Session 2 and 3 will be 70 minutes each. The science assessment will include 3 different types of question. The first type of question is item sets. These will be application-based. The students will use a variety of sources, graphs, charts, and pictures, and they will answer a series of questions based on these sources. Standalone items, these are questions that they will answer independently. The third types of questions are task sets. Here, the students will be presented with a scenario or a piece of text along with a variety of sources, and they will answer a series of questions, including a constructed response. All constructed responses should be written in CER format: claim, evidence, and reasoning. The difference between multiple choice and multiple select is multiple choice is a variety of choices are given and students will choose one answer. Multiple select, a variety of choices are given and students will choose more than one. Part A and Part B questions also have 2 types. The first type is dependent. This means that in order to get Part B correct, the students must get Part A correct. Independent means that the students, even if they miss Part A, they can still get Part B correct. Another section of this test will be the writing. There are a few different types of writings that they may be presented with. Constructed response. The children will respond to a variety of constructed responses throughout the test. Usually they will be at the end of session 1 and the end of session 3. Students will briefly respond using scientific knowledge and information from these sources. Students should begin these responses with I claim. The second type of writing that they will see is extended response. The children will respond to one extended response at the end of the task set at session 2. Students will analyze and evaluate by writing an in-depth response incorporating knowledge of science content and information from the sources. They must use the CER framework, claim, evidence, and reasoning to respond to this one.
Hello, my name is Scarlett Offord. I teach at Live Oak Elementary, 4th grade, ELA and Social Studies. I am going to be explaining the Social Studies LEAP part of the test. It will be taken Tuesday, May the 4th. The test is broken down into 4 sections. The sections are going to be history, geography, civics, and economics. There will be 2 sessions of 75 minutes each. During the test, it is very important that your child learns how to fill in the bubbles for the correct answers. While taking the test, this test consists of multiple choice, which has 4 answer options and will only have 1 answer. The multiple select will have more than 1 answer option and have 2 correct answers with an constructed response part. All multiple choice and multiple select are worth 1 point each, with no partial credit. For the constructive response section, the students will need to restate and answer the questions, cite evidence, and elaborate or explain their answers. There will be also a question set section with an A and B part. The students are taught in class that it is very important for them to answer the question as to what it has been asked of them, or no points will be given. Also, the students are to answer all written parts with full form sentences. There will be a scored rubric that is scored from 0 to 2 points. Students will be expected to use prior knowledge or what has been taught in class with source documents on the LEAP exam to answer the questions. As for the source documents, they will consist of maps, charts, tables, graphs, timelines, graphic organizers, illustrations, photographs, or also informational text. Reviewing skills that have been taught throughout the year will be helpful to your child mastering the test. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Dr. Leah Turner. I'm the 4th grade special education teacher here at Live Oak Elementary School. Now, you've heard from our other 4th grade teachers about what you can expect on the 3rd and 4th grade LEAP assessments, and now you're probably wondering, when are we going to get these test results? The results will be sent to the school in the fall semester of next school year when your child is either in 4th grade or in 5th grade. Due to the copious amounts of writing exercises that must be done, those are hand graded and not done by a computer. And the results are going to fall in one of the following categories: unsatisfactory, approaching basic, basic, mastery, and advanced. And each subject's going to have its own achievement score. It's not one whole collective score for the entire test. So your child might be very good in ELA and receive an advanced or a mastery, and others might be basic. And basic is what we are shooting for our children, at least for the LEAP test. Now, you're probably wondering, what are we doing here at Live Oak Elementary School to help your child be successful for the test? And I'm going to tell you. The first thing that we do is, based on data that we've aggregated from our progress monitoring and standardized assessments, we pull our students in small groups for targeted instruction that focus on specific skills that they might need some more support in. We also have various computer programs that the students have access to that help them know what the format of the LEAP exam is and some of the assessment tools that they're going to be exposed to. Each core subject also has a LEAP practice book that we work on for about 10 to 15 minutes a day to just get them used to the format and sort of, how the wording is and the various types of questions that your other teachers have told you about. The LEAP test has many different styles of writing that the children work throughout the day in all subject areas, and we integrate those in our core subjects. ELA, we work on the different types of essays that the students are going to be asked to do and on the LEAP test. Math are the extended responses and the explain your work. So those homework assignments that come home where the children's I don't know why I have to explain my work. This is why you have to explain your work. It is expected on the LEAP test. In science and social studies, we teach them how to use the CER format, if you've heard your child talk about that, to get them used to those responses for those core subject areas. And so these are things that we have done here at our school, and now I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do at home to help prepare your child to have the best testing experience ever. So the first is sleep. Please make sure they get a good night's sleep every night before the test. Sleep is very important, keeps them alert and keeps them rested and helps them perform at their best. So they need a good night of uninterrupted sleep. Number 2, breakfast. Please make sure they eat breakfast at home if that's what they do during the, if that's normal. Give them a good hearty breakfast to get their blood flowing, get their oxygen to their brain so they can test. If they eat here at school, maybe look at the lunch menu on the school board website. If it's something that they don't really care for, then feed them at home. And if they do get food here, please make sure they are here well before 8 o'clock so they can eat that breakfast before 8 o'clock and be ready to go. Which brings me to step 3, they need to be on time. The testing begins promptly at 8 o'clock. That means all breakfast will be done eating, everything, the test will be ready to go at 8 o'clock. So your child needs to be here ready to go. And if they are not here, if they are tardy, they cannot come in and interrupt whatever test session we are on. They will have to sit in the office and they will have to wait until that test session is completed before they can join their friends. And they will make up that test later that afternoon when their friends are playing fun activities and doing some relaxing things. And so I know they don't want that to happen. Number 4, they need to be at school. It's very important. They are at school every day. We know emergencies sometimes happen, sicknesses, but if none of those are the case for your child, they have to be at school because they run the risk of getting a 0 on that test day session if they are not present at school. And number 5, the most important, I think, is to be calm. This is already going to be a stressful situation, especially for our 3rd grade babies who aren't used to taking this sort of test. And so they need to have a stress-free day, a stress-free morning. And so just make sure that you are focused and you are encouraging them on this test, and so they don't need to worry about what's going on at home and things. Keep them as calm as possible. Now, several of you have also asked if my child has a 504 plan or an IEP plan and receives accommodations such as small group testing and tests read aloud. Don't worry, those things will be honored on the LEAP test. They will receive those same accommodations. If you would like to further help your child at home and get extra practice for them at home, we do have LEAP packets that are available and ready to go. You simply need to dojo your child's teacher by Friday, March the 19th in order to receive that packet. So we hope all of these videos that we have done have been informative for you. We really look forward to a successful testing week. So from all of the 3rd and 4th grade teachers here at Live Oak Elementary, thank you so much for your support and all that you do.